This is the second time I have to record this because apparently the first time did not record, and it was very good the first time. It seems like I have to do everything 2, 3, 4, 5 times now. I was asked a question about alters, and I wanted to answer that question. I was born into MK Ultra and Super Soldier projects stemming from Operation Paperclip at the end of World War II. Operation Paperclip saved thousands of Nazi scientists, wealthy elites. A couple of those people were Adolf Hitler and Joseph Mengele. Joseph Mengele, the Angel of Death from World War II. I was nicknamed Death after him. I had Stockholm Syndrome over him. I fear for my life. I will not name any of the other handlers, programmers, white lab coats. No, most of them are still alive. That's not why I came forward. Joseph Mengele created me from test tube to adult. He used gene splicing. I was implanted in my mother's womb. I was traumatized in the womb and born breech. Adolf Hitler was creating the ultimate war weapon, and I'm a product of that. I have been chipped, mind-controlled, surgically enhanced, and I was used for 37 years of my 49 years of life. I woke up in the year 2014. The pivotal month was December 2014. I woke up, my alters, I had a flash flood of memories. My alters told me what had happened to them, gave me their testimony. I began remembering being used as a super soldier for 37 years of my life. I was trafficked with a small group of kids through those years. When I got older, they farmed us kids out. You know, some went into politics, some into the music industry, some into Hollywood. I was farmed out, but back into black operations in the military. I saw side of black operations that the public and our military publicly, that they don't know about. Hence why it's called black operations. I went through human experimentation projects. So, like I said, Adolf Hitler was creating the ultimate war weapon, and that's what I'm a product of. There were 169 alters built into me. At first, when I found out I had 169 alters, I thought I was weak, and I was embarrassed and humiliated about myself. I thought I was sick. I thought I was just a pathetic human being. But it turns out I was very wrong. Having alters, DID, Disassociative Identity Disorder, it used to be called MPD, Multiple Personality Disorder. But anyway, these alters were not a sign of me being sick, weak, or pathetic. Actually, it was quite the opposite. Any average person would have had a heart attack and died if they were exposed to what I had to live through and survive in deep underground military bases and above ground government facilities. I exposed the elite families. I was asked about my alters, so let me stay on topic. Any normal person would have died seeing the horrors that I had to live through between the human experimentation projects and the mutilation of animals and the programming and training alone to be used as a super soldier. It was brutal. 169 alters were created, and they were programmed and given orders. What happened to me was not haphazardly. What happened to me was purposefully done by our government and military, USA, UK, and Canada. I'm a survivor of Pizzagate, and it is true. Sorry for the little tangent. So when I found out that I had alters, it was back in, we'll say, December 2014. When I was blessed with full reintegration of those 169 altars, it was December 2022. So 8 years. I'm in the last leg of my recovery, and I'm finally happy to be here to be seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. But when I first had altars, I was so embarrassed of myself. I would not let people speak to my altars, and I would not let my altars speak to others. But then after a few years, I overcame that. And I realized that my altars, they were created, but my altars helped me and they protected me. And if it wasn't for those altars, I would have been dead. Survival of the fittest? Well, I survived by any and all means. Altars were split off. The white lab coats programmed and trained those altars. But I wasn't weak. What I began to do was leave notepads out with crayons and pens and pencils, and I would leave my altars notes. I'd tell them I loved them, ask them to do things. I would ask them questions, and sometimes they would write back. Some altars did not know how to read or write, so they'd draw a picture. But by the picture, they'd be drawing sophisticated pictures, though. They wouldn't be drawing stick figures. They'd be drawing sophisticated pictures. I only have a couple of them left. This is not the real ring, but it's a temporary. I married Yeshua HaMashiach December 12, 2014. One of my altars drove me to Jonathan Cahn's. That evening, I was invited back. I was invited to come back. That was the second time I was there. And that evening, he spoke the bridegroom feast teaching, and then he spoke about the Jewish traditions of marriage. I seized that opportunity to marry Yeshua HaMashiach. He became my golden bow, and I became his holy white hot silver arrow. And I have a vow of celibacy with him. So when my altars would come forward, I would tell my altars about Yeshua HaMashiach and all the great things he did for me. But then again, it was pretty easy because I think my altars were sick and tired of that cage and sick and tired of being used. So right off the bat, I would introduce them to Yeshua. A few years into my recovery, because it was 8 years long, just looking at that time frame, I began allowing my altars to have bonds and form friendships with others that I trusted. Always platonic relationships, never anything else. I would let them start typing posts if they wanted. I started to let them talk if they wanted. My altars did not have nicknames. My altars were not named because what happened to me was very generic. What happened to me was not done by my family. No, it was done by my government and military. So what I wound up doing was nicknaming my altars. So, like I said, only a handful had names. The majority did not, so I nicknamed them. And they enjoyed their nicknames. And their nicknames would describe their personality, so to speak, like wrath or anger. No, actually, it wasn't wrath. It was rage. That was an altar. She did not mind that nickname. But I, right off the bat, always introduced them to Yeshua, my golden bow, and tell them how great he was. But they were willing. I wanted to know Yeshua. I was ready, willing, and able, and pretty much begging for help. And he was the only one that could supply it, and he was the only one that could really handle me. And he was the only one I was really ever truly comfortable with. So my whole process, when this process started of deprogramming, I was homeless. I was renting an expensive couch in Newfoundland, New Jersey, just to keep my cat and dog and I together. My cat and dog and I, Seva and Keeper, they're deceased now, but that's my family photo. So My alters loved having them and having pets around. Um, my alters would draw. Some of them like to write. When my alters would come forward, I would tell them, listen, I know it's not as glamorous as being a spy or a double agent, but can you wash the dishes to help Holly out? Can you clean the bathroom to help Holly out? She needs help. So I would give my alters new tasks to do, and they were happy to help Holly and take care of Holly. Excuse me the way I word things. I've had full reintegration for the first time in my life for the past 10 months, and it's really interesting. It's a new way of life. I like it a lot better. I like going to sleep myself and waking up myself. And if things get a little too tense, I can still go to sleep and and push the reset button. But with my alters, I always introduced them to Yeshua. I started letting them form bonds. I gave them new responsibilities, bonds with people. I gave them new responsibilities. I treated them like humans. I treated them like they mattered. And I was always my worst enemy, beating myself up, and I still have bad tendencies of doing that. I learned that I needed to pamper myself and go easy on myself. It was my alters that went through the situation, so I didn't have to. They're the ones stuck at that moment of extreme trauma and torture. My alters were the ones that told me what happened to me and them. They're the ones that held all the information. When they came forward, I got details about what happened. So I started treating them with delicate care. And I always said that it was not in the cards for full reintegration. But Yahweh smacked it on me. If you ever see me on YouTube, that's my channel. I'm very informal there. Also, please come join me on Spirit Force Internet Radio. You may have to download the free app called Spreaker, but I talk about this stuff. I go into details about this stuff. So please feel free to join me. Also, if you would like to email me, you can contact me at hollybaglio11@gmail.com. HOLLYBAGLIO 11@gmail.com, or Yudhe Holly Baglio at Proton Mail. I'll spell that one for you. YHVHS HOLLYBAGLIO at protonmail.com. Baglio. I hope this helps, and I'll be praying for you.